Good day, students. Now I have on screen a statement of profit or loss, and I want you to have an image in your mind of the different blocks that we have in this document. Now I describe a block as a particular section where calculations are done and the elements that make up the calculations are related. So for example, my first block will be the block that is calculating net sales. So I'm going to put the color of the letters in orange. So this is my net sales block, and I use 3 figures to work that out. My sales returns, also called my return inwards, and my discounts allowed. And notice that the return inwards and the discounts allowed are subtracted from the sales to get your net sales. Then we have our cost of sales block, and this is highlighted in blue. So all the figures, all the line items labeled in blue are used to work out the cost of sales figure. And this figure in the question, in the profit or loss document, is 52,895. This is the cost of sales figure. So even though we put the heading up here, cost of sales, we have the figure calculated here. Then we have the revenue block. And this would be what I would call the revenue block. And I'm going to put it in red. Now the revenue block captures your gross profit and your other forms of income, like rent received, commissions. Now the other income, if you remember, is the side hustle that the business does. The core business is what generates gross profit, but the business owner may have different other forms of income, and we will find these in the income block under the heading other income. And then we have our final block, which is our expenses. And I am going to put these in green, dark green. So in my expenses block, you will find all the revenue expenditure. Now remember, when you did expenditure earlier, you had 2 types, capital and revenue. The capital expenditure, you will not find it here. You will find it in the statement of financial position. And those would be your non-current assets. But your revenue expenditure is found in this section called less expenses. Sometimes you'll see less expenditure as the heading, this heading. Okay? So in working out your net profit, you need all of these different blocks in this particular order in order to calculate. So here's how we now get at our net profit. We will start with our net sales of 12900, subtract our cost of sales figure, which is 52,895. When you subtract those two, you end up with the gross profit of $68,005. Now, in the revenue block, apart from that revenue of $68,005, you have $9,700 of other income. When you add those two, your total income is $77,705. The last thing you'll have to do now is subtract all of your expenses, your revenue expenditure, subtract all of them from your total income, and that gives you your net profit of 51,720. So the objective of the statement of profit or loss is to calculate whether you've made a net profit or whether you have incurred a loss. And we will refer to that as a net loss. If it is a net loss, the number that you have will be bracketed. So because my 51,720 is not bracketed, it means I have a profit. But if the 51,720 happen to be bracketed, then that would represent a net loss. But in this question, we end up with a net profit.